LGD as a club and an organization.
Well, we'll see if they'll be able to pull it off this time around because, again, they're 1 point away from actually being out of the playoffs if they were to happen this very week. So we'll see if they manage to pull any more points together as we enter the pick and ban phase for game number 1 between LGD and Xiaogu. You can already see the Sivir taken away from TNT, Rise stripped from Acorn, and Lulu likely taken away from Doinby, but we've seen TCT take that as well.
Yeah, I actually took it yesterday.
Yep.
In their loss, unfortunately. They were trying to go for a fast push composition and try to find the 4-0, but it was kind of weird. They kept switching Tristana and Lulu around.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a flex pick for them.
There is also the Callista taken away from Imp, and Alistair from TCT, so could be double support, could be 1 support, 1 mid. But LGD, they seem to know where their priorities lie. Shut down the bottom lane of Xiaogu.
Kind of curious that PYL banning the Alistair, obviously looking for a different priority pick there. Big picks still on the board is going to be Echo, Hecarim, things like that. Victor.
Certainly is. Thresh pulled away from PYL, so unfortunately he's not going to get to play one of the 2 champions that he's played in his last 5 games. There's the first pick, Hecarim for Acorn in the top lane.
No surprises there. Acorn's found a ton of success on Hecarim, and it's funny because when you think about the 2 different top laners between LGD, Flame, and Acorn, Acorn gets to play Hecarim the most.
He certainly does. Very interesting to see how that works out. There is Victor locked in for Doinby, and Swift going to be taking Echo in the jungle.
Wow, okay, so again, I'll say it. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I actually really like Echoes in the jungle as opposed to the mid lane. We haven't found a ton of success. I think Cool and Rookie are probably the 2 standout mid lane Echoes. Corn for King, their mid laner, but Swift, just the amount of utility that Echo brings is just incredible, and how they set up the ganks with the parallel convergence. MLXG did it fantastically yesterday against Xiaogu, actually using his parallel convergence from Fog of War and setting up amazing ganks. So we'll see if Swift's able to find the same success. He might have been inspired from MLXG yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he did try it yesterday, and it was pretty moderate with some of that success. Now here's TBQ taking that Sejuani in the jungle, and that's Nautilus locked in, likely for PYL. Actually, I'm pretty certain that's for PYL.
No surprises there that, I mean, obviously with Hecarim already shown that's not going to be a Nautilus into the top lane, so you are correct. But Alistair's banned, Thresh is taken away. Let's just keep going down the tier list for supports, and it's Nautilus.
We actually haven't seen a lot of Sejuani lately. It really seems like she's been traded in favor of that Rek'Sai, which, in fact, is open.
And no one picked.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious that TBQ decided to go for the Sejuani versus the Rek'Sai. That said, LGD, in their current trend, they love to lane swap to hide the Sejuani in her fragile early clear time, so could just be looking for another lane swap and pick their bottom lane to merge well with that, although Imp hovering is Ezreal again.
Yeah, he certainly is. Last pick would also be for Godv, so we'll see what PYL picks up for him, whereas on the other side, V goes back to that Gnar, and TNT decides to return to that Corki.
Gnar is a huge pickup for V. That is a very powerful champion for him, probably his best win rate. TNT, we talked about how kind of the big difference between Xiaogu's success on blue side and purple side is the fact that early rotation bottom side, so giving a lot of power early to TNT. See if he's able to find the same success on this Corki, but you know what was left open?
Varus.
God V's Varus.
I feel like we've seen that before.
He is consistently going back to this champion. He loves it against mid-range control mages like Victor, Azir, Cassiopeia, because obviously his Q can outrange them, go through creep wave. So not only does he get to push the wave, he gets to punch you in the face repeatedly with it.
Definitely see how that works out because he's going up against Doinby on that Victor. TCT looks like he's hovering that go button Annie, and that's a confident choice. And a team with 3 tanks, 1 backline dive, and a lot of long-range poke. He's going to be the guy who says, all right, we're fighting now. The
AoE magic damage out of Xiaogu is absurd right now. Echo, Victor, Corki's even going to do mixed damage, as well as Annie. It is an all hard engage, smear you with AoE.
Yeah, and we'll see if it works out, as these are our final lineups. And it looks to be an exciting match right now because Xiaogu, we talked about, they don't exactly pick the strongest team comps from the red side, but it seems like they've really drafted something together pretty strong here.
Yeah, I really like their team fight. It kind of speaks to their identity and their strength as a team is in their 5v5 now. They've been trying some experimentation again with making quick map rotations and trying to push down towers very quickly with their Tristana Lulu comp that they tried to run yesterday to not a lot of success.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, speaking of kind of like identities and MOs of team compositions, LGD, they keep running double tier comps.
They definitely do, and it has occasionally worked out for them.
Oh yeah, it's actually worked out fairly well. And the reason why I really like their double tier comps, especially in this case, is their mid-game power spike tier comps. The only thing that I don't like in this composition is actually the Sejuani. So I figure that they will go for a lane swap because that's typically what they do when they have Sej on their roster. But I would have liked a more aggressive jungler. Even TBQ's Lee Sin at this point, or the Rek'Sai, which was left open, would really shore up the early game power trough that LGD's composition really find themselves in.
Yeah, and we saw that hovered by TBQ, so there was a conscious choice at the last second to switch it over to Sejuani. So it seems like LGD have got a plan coming into this. And we'll see if they'll be able to earn any points off of this one, because it's 2nd place versus 8th place right now.
Yeah, and I definitely think they do need to look for that lane swap, so that's what I'm going to be curious about. That said, Corki into Ezreal, I mean, Kid likes that matchup, and I'm sure Imp finds it as fine as well.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out as we load into the Rift for game number 1. We have arrived. It's LGD versus Xiaogu, game number 1 of week number 6 of the LPL.
You have to go multiple. Come on, keep going.
Keep going through the whole thing.
Week 6, day 3, game 1.
Set 1, game 1.
Set 1, game 1.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got to run through the whole thing. And we can actually see the duo for LGD on the bottom side of the map. They were spotted out by TCT, but no harass is going to find them.
No, they were just setting up into a 5-point. It's very common that it's going to be warded there, or someone's going to see if you step forward into the river. So Imp stepped forward, showed his face. They immediately walked back into Fog of War, and there's the lane swap. And can we talk about the Ezreal skin? Is that the new one? The Ace Ezreal?
The awesome Ezreal skin.
Yeah, thank you.
The Ace of Spades Ezreal.
I was going to say, I think it's a spade. His hair. He looks like he's going Super Saiyan.
He already is.
Okay, let's talk about what this lane swap means. So LGD, they lane swap a ton. And again, if you look at their roster, full of stars, but the weak point is their jungler, TBQ, especially on Sejuani. Very weak early clear. She gets very low. Against a jungler like Echo, it's not going to be as scary just because Echo himself likes to really farm up. He needs itemization before he can just walk in and start looking to body you. But it just really protects Sejuani, make sure that she gets through her early weak phase and she can get closer to that level 6 and that big gank priority.
We'll see how that works out, as TBQ is going for a double clear with Acorn, and it's exactly as you mentioned. Double jungle coming out of Acorn. He doesn't want to clear any camps on his own because he knows that would be dangerous. PYL, what are you doing, man?
He's just trying to do as much damage, be as much of a nuisance as possible. If he was able to steal any of those Sentinels, obviously that would be huge because he would be denying the EXP from Swift and V. But likewise, if he can just get any sort of damage done down, it would force Swift to back early. Even if he managed to kill him, which Mako has done a few times,
yeah,
it's more important just, causing havoc for the enemy jungler.
Oh, Godv missed that minion, unfortunately. Oh, and another one.
Wow, slipping Godv.
Yeah, I know. As Doinby actually gets a nice trinket ward, and he scares away TBQ and Acorn as they try to pull the blue away from that laser of Victor. Keeping it safe, keeping it secret.
Yeah, Doinby doing a good job making sure that he shoved the wave in, and then with that pressure that he applied, forcing Godv underneath his tower with the creep wave, walks over and drops a nice trinket. So PYL figured out where Swift was in his jungle, Doinby figures out where TBQ is.
And now that all of these lanes have knowledge of where the junglers are, what can they do with them? It seems like everyone's content to just continue farming up with that double jungle.
I mean, it's really just more important because the starts were standard 5 points and everyone just kind of laid their wards down into the river to kind of figure out where people started on the map and where they can suspect the initial backs or the first ganks will be.
We'll definitely see how that works out, as TCT seems like he's the first to pull the trigger on that recall, going for a lot of wards plus some significant sustain as he heads down to try to get a ward to spot out TBQ as he invades the jungle. He is able to spot it, though. TBQ sees that one as well and heads back over to his own side. I like the communication via ping.
It is 2 multi-language teams, so they communicate in a third in Korean for both of them.
Godv looking like he might be ganked here. No wards just yet. He's creeping awful far forward. They're going to find TBQ instead. Flash over the wall. He's stun locked and even stealing away the Raptors.
Wow, and the big catalyst for that was the fact that TCT initially got off his back. And so you have to think, anytime the support backs, what's he going to do? He's going to go roam and look to place deep wards.
Oh my gosh, even finding Acorn here. Did he steal away the small Krug? I think he did.
TCT on a roll right now.
I know.
forces the early back, picks up the wards, immediately walks into the jungle. They make a pick, and this transitions easily into a free dragon.
Yeah, Swift and V are burning through it. The both on 3-hit passives applying as quickly as possible. Gypsy Lord is a happy man right now, as that dragon is being shredded through so very quickly. Xiaogu are going to take this first dragon about 5 minutes in. Doesn't seem like there's much LGD can do.
That's going to open up a very early win condition for a possible 5th dragon for Xiaogu, though. That's about 5 minutes early. That's like a 30. I can't do math. I don't know when I'm trying to do math. I'm backing away from this one. Dig me out.
29 minutes.
Thank you.
29-minute.
You're a computer science major, right?
If they get it timed. Doinby taking some harass here. He's low on mana, but still able to trade back as Godby.
Doinby is going to have a rough time until he goes back, upgrades his Hex Core, and more importantly, gets his evolution point into his Q, so he has the shield to help him make those small trades in melee range.
Another skirmish in the jungle. It's 3v3 right now, but Doinby's out of mana, making it a 2v3. V goes low, but he makes it under the tier 2, proccing that shield. And PYL, whoa, the heal barely keeps him alive. He's still going right now as Godby fires the arrow. Oh, barely hits Swift, but he stays alive.
So LGD fight back. They pull their resources and try to invade from the side that they're strongest with, pulling LGD from the top side. Excuse me, PYL from the top side. Fortunately, nobody dies, but a lot of summoners burned in that exchange.
Definitely Swift playing very close to the chest with that one. That last arrow was so close, and Godby, he was on the PTL pentakill reel for having that amazing no-vision snipe for the kill last week. Can he get a similar play this week and end up on the reel once again?
Well, he's really just starting to show his comfort, but again, the thing that I want to point out is Doinby went back. He's now upgraded his Hex Core. That's 1,000 gold. And again, not only will it give him bonus AP that'll scale off his level. Level 5 right now, so it's not going to be huge as far as his wave clear, but more importantly, it'll help him with his trades on his Q because he'll get that shield return. So when Varus walks into auto attack range, it's not going to be as scary.
Another invade coming out of TCT. TBQ is going to spot it, but they're just going to end up clearing out the ward and backing away as it. There are a lot of pink wards down here from Xiaogu. They want some vision down here. Clearly, they're not content to just sit back and farm.
Well, they're really given the authority to do this as well, simply because, again, in the lane swap, they just have superior control over this side of the map because they have a numbers advantage on the bottom side.
Yeah, look at that. That's 4 pink wards on that side of the map. They will see everything. Anytime somebody walks down, they're going to know that it's happening. And it's actually conveniently timed to steal away the red buff. TBQ, he's spotting the ward. He's going to clear it out, sees everybody there, and is like, wait, that's not good.
Okay, so here's my... Obviously very well executed. They had a plan going in, okay, we want to time this red buff. We want to siege second rotation of buffs. The thing is with those 4 pink wards, that's 400 gold. Hold on, though.
Swift, is he going to get the AoE stun? He barely doesn't. Godby barely makes it out.
And again, this is the thing. So what is this vision securing them? It secured them a red buff. They weren't able to get the pick. Naturally, they then look to gank mid because obviously they have complete control of denial on that jungle side, so they can try to play with Fog of War onto the mid lane. But it didn't translate into anything. In fact, LG are not going to use their strong side of the map to siege back a red buff. So they spent 400 gold and didn't get anything for it.
With that, LGD get to answer by stealing a red buff of their own. Godby even waiting in the wings to try helping him out. Steals away 2 of the smaller raptors from Swift with that excellent arrow, and they're going to give up this red buff. It's exactly as you mentioned. Yes, they steal it away. They drop 400 gold worth of wards, but it's answered right on back, and LGD managed to pull the trigger without spending 400 gold worth of wards.
Exactly, and so this gold discrepancy that you see between the two teams is actually much smaller now because Xiaogu translated their early first blood into vision, which is something that Cloud9 really popularized in the NALCS. Those initial dragons that they would then immediately turn into deep wards and try to make more picks off of. Unfortunately, it didn't connect for Xiaogu, so they tried. I give them props for the attempt in theory about it, but the execution just wasn't there.
Yeah, just a little bit off. They do still have those wards providing vision for a long time
but
until TBQ gets in there.
No reason to be there because there's no red buff and there's no dragon. It would make much more sense if the objective was still there, but I mean, right now it's just an elongated lane phase. Yeah.
So that's not going to provide that much. Imp is the first one who takes a turret. TNT actually takes a turret shot. I'm not sure that was exactly what he wanted. He was like, I want the turret. Oh, I took a turret shot instead.
There we go, though, but we have both our tiers completed. Like you said, Imp secures that tower in the first, since Xiaogu have been spending so much of their time kind of invading TPQ's jungle and trying to bleed him out there. They eventually do, however, trade.
They do indeed. It's 1-1 now in turrets, and again, about a 600, 700 gold difference between the two. Now the wards are spotting out a lot of people. TPQ, yeah,
Thank
and
goodness.
PYL, they finally clear that.
We spent all of this money on these pink wards for them to be very useful for us.
Well, they know that LGD is going to be on the bottom side of the map now, as Imp shows himself on down there. PYL's down there as well. The only person who isn't is Acorn, and he's feeling pretty comfortable with that, as he's actually had some time to catch some CS.
Yep, starting to really build up that discrepancy. That is 27-4 for V between Acorn. We talked about how Acorn is actually the Hecarim player, despite the fact that Flame has a longer reputation of being more of a carry-oriented top lane. Acorn is fantastic in his team fight positioning and really knowing how to use that onslaught of shadows to maximum efficiency for LGD.
We'll have to see if that's the case, because he's set up perfectly to make that happen this time around. His opponent, V, isn't going to be able to trade without taking some sort of punishment of his own, as he's down. Whoa, Godv solo killing TCT there in the jungle.
What you doing, buddy?
Yeah, he used the Chain of Corruption, didn't even have to use Flash, as TCT just got locked down and destroyed.
Yeah, he has his Moby boots, doesn't have the Sightstone, so what he was doing, he was trying to pull the Mata. Has the Mobies, looking for deep wards. Unfortunately, didn't have his jungler or his top laner behind him this time around when he got the first blood on TBQ. Godv says, hey, can I check out here? Finds a free kill.
He does indeed, and with that, it's now even in kills, and more importantly, that kill is on Godly, who was kind of thirsting for that gold. You can see he's down 2 waves in CS, so he should be catching it back. Yep, there's the Ezreal ult to try to keep Acorn safe as Swift looks for a dive, but here's TBQ as well. They're turning around now. The Chrono Break isn't going to be activated. He goes down. It's LGD who get the first kill. The hook slows him down. Acorn's still alive. Oh, he takes the auto attack, dies at the last second. V finally joins the fight. He's only level 5. It's now 2 kills for Xiaogu. They turn it around and they make it 3 kills for 2. PYL's going to go down. V finally makes up some of that much-needed gold.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's kind of explain how this all came to be. Obviously, a great fight from Xiaogu. They take a secure lead. Okay, Godfrey trying to find what he can. That was so obvious. And we knew, LGD knew that was going to happen. You think even back to the Ezreal, sending that up into the top lane. And the reason they knew is because TCT got caught attempting to deep ward on that side. So why would you ever deep ward into the jungle? Okay, obviously they can set up for a flank. They can look for a dive onto the top lane, especially because Dragon's not in play. So LGD immediately rotate all of their resources to try to counter that. Unfortunately, Godv can't rotate quick enough, and a massive Gnar ultimate saves the day.
Very strong AoE. Imp looks like he might be get caught out here. Ooh, forced to flash. Almost locking him down in the Chronosphere, but Swift doesn't quite find it, whereas that turret finally ends up going down. 2 turrets for 1 in favor of LGD, but Dragon has now respawned. All 5 members of Xiaogu are on this side of the map. Here's a breakdown of that kill onto TCT. Oh my gosh, the arrows.
Again, he's over here, he's laying down deep vision. This is just free pickings for Godv.
Goodness, level 8 to level 4. That poor Annie didn't stand a chance, while Xiaogu look like they're going to be taking this second dragon.
And it's really because they got the advantage of the top lane. Again, the fact that Gnar had his Mega Gnar form available was able to proc that to get the extra resistances and really turn the tides of that fight.
Yeah, so right now it looks like Xiaogu are on track for a 31-minute dragon. There was a slight delay, but they're still feeling very strong about that, as they have got significantly more raw stats than LGD at the time being. However, LGD are now 1,000 gold ahead. And with that enormous lead for Acorn, poor V is struggling as best he can, but he's not being anywhere near as effective as he would like.
But that's really only in the CS discrepancies between the 2 top laners, 48-13. And yeah, again, V's behind on experience as well as CS. Again, he was only level 5 into that top lane, but they're making map rotations and cleaning up a bit objectives with it.
Oh, wow, fine Swift. He's forced to Chrono Break out. He still takes some damage. There's a huge prison. It locks down 2 members. Imp, though, dives a bit too far and gets destroyed by Doinby and TNT.
Pretty classic Imp to E forward right there. He couldn't get the final auto attack to pick up the double kill right there on Swift as he gets away with blinking health, but E's forward straight into a Chaos Storm. And Doinby says, thank you.
Free kill for Doinby. He's probably feeling happy about that. TNT sees TBQ clearing out the red buff. He's going to try securing that for himself, or at least stall it out for Swift. And nope, yeah, he's going to take it himself.
LGD just a little bit trigger happy right there. They should have just laid down their poke. Again, it's a poke-based composition. You have Varus, you have Ezreal. Your big power spike's going to come when both those tiers are stacked up, and you have more CDR available, so you can send out more of your Qs. And got a little bit too excited with the Glacial Prison.
Yeah, he definitely did. He saw the great stun from TBQ, and earlier I asked why Sejuani. Well, that's why right there. When you can stun 3 or 4 members down at once, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's really important that with a double AD comp like this, Varus and Ezreal, obviously Varus is not super self-sufficient, doesn't have any mobility built into his kit, that you have a big tanky frontline that can create space and zone pressure for them. And likewise, the synergy between the AoE ultimates, the Glacial Prison, as well as the Varus ult is going to be happy days.
Certainly is. Xiaogu now showing 4 members in the mid lane as they're continuing to buy time for Vita farm, though Godby's wave clear is excellent. He's down about, not that much, 17 CS right now, but he does have those kills under his belt, which should be making up some of that gold discrepancy. And Doinb just being as greedy as possible, trying to get to that late game, I'm gonna murder you, Victor. Goodness, he does damage.
Curious what Gnar is going to itemize his Giant's Belt into, if he's going to be building for team fights or lane phase. Now, I would be concerned if he decided to go for more of a lane phase oriented build as opposed to the resistances. But on the other side, Acorn, of course, with more CS, has already itemized into his Glacial Shroud and picking up more armor on top of that for all of the magic damage that he's going to face. I feel like he really needs to get a Cal before this next big dragon fight.
Yeah, he's really going to, but we haven't seen it quite yet. As I said, he's using that power 4 armor. Instead, he's putting his priority on trying to dive turrets, I've seen.
Well, LG are setting up to siege this mid-tier tower. That said, they're going to find it very difficult because Victor has blue buff as well as the double upgraded Hex Core and some CDR, so lasers for days.
Yeah. More lasers than a Daft Punk concert.
I see what you did there.
And arrows now coming out from Doinb towards Doinb. End up chunking him out. And everybody's all grouped up here in the mid. I don't exactly know what's going to happen unless TBQ is able to land like a clutch ultimate, or
it's
you
going
just
to
continue poking him out.
Yeah, it's about poke right now. So this is about Varus Q's, Ezreal ultimate right there, as well as the Ezreal Q. And if they find, a situation where everyone's really low health and Xiaogu are still attempting to hold this tower, you see Acorn coming down from the flank. It's a very easy onslaught of shadows from behind to push them forward into a Glacial Prison. Now, the ultimates that are really important on the side of Xiaogu is obviously going to be how Swift will play with his utility as well as his reset, and TCT's Tibbers.
The turret looks like it's going to be sieged down. They just need a few more auto attacks, but they cannot quite break it. Swift with some huge AoE. He's able to chunk him out, and there's Acorn looking for the flank exactly as predicted. Steals away a Raptor camp for himself. Actually, not even picking up any sort of challenging smite or even the Cinderhulk just yet, as Acorn is going for something a little bit interesting here. Swift drops the Chronosphere.
Again, the resistance is to dive the tower, so this is what they're looking for. I don't think they can hold this, especially because V really doesn't have any rage available to go into or to threaten with his Mega Gnar form.
Yeah, Doinb, man, he is getting chunked out. Every single arrow that hits just does so much damage. Gosh! TNT even takes the tip of the arrow there.
Imp actually using his blue trinket to assist Godby with laying down more poke. And just look at the oppressive range and reach of Varus on that Q. The fact of how far he's standing back to get such massive damage that can go through multiple targets. I mean, even against a Nidalee when she's throwing from Fog of War, that spear is only connecting with one person.
Yeah. Some serious damage from Godby. He takes the long way around. TNT takes some damage, however. And without that mid-tier 1 and the tank's not there, whoa, Godby almost gets caught out here. Ooh, man, Swift doesn't pop it.
They knew that they had reset the minion wave, so what they're trying to get in position for is the dragon, which will be spawning in 26 seconds. Now, from base to the dragon pit, it takes about 30 seconds. You see that Acorn has created a pressure point into the top lane, so the reason why we instantly saw all of LGD press B right there is they want to start setting up for this dragon pit. And they knew that they could leave the mid because they had forced the wave back, so Xiaogu, if they wanted to take advantage and try to trade a tower, they have that much farther and deeper to walk down the lane.
Interesting to see how that worked out. Now, Dragon has respawned. The previous 2 did go to Xiaogu. We talked about how they were on track for a 31-minute Dragon 5. But this is the chance for LGD to turn it around. Last time they set up with enormous amounts of vision, but decided not to actually contest the Dragon itself. it spawned. All 5 members of LGD are on this side of the map. V actually gets a timely recall, and with that pickaxe and a giant spell, whoa, Imp gets caught. He gets destroyed.
Okay, so that's Imp just being way too far forward. Gives an easy pick, but hold on, could be answered.
They find Swift. If they can take down the Smite, that would be huge. He's forced to flash forward, already having burned the Chrono Break. He's awful low, but he's awful tanky, and he's going to get away.
Still relatively dangerous. They are going to go ahead and pull this one. The Smite's still available. That said, what, level 10 to level 9, so TBQ has the stronger Smite. Likewise, the big poke damage is still Godby.
Oh, TBQ comes over the wall. Can he get the steal? He does indeed. That's the first dragon for LGD, and Xiaogu try to turn it into a fight. They find Acorn. His onslaught goes wide. I'm not sure what he saw there, but it caused him to go in the wrong direction. PYL gets caught. He dies as well. El Godby takes a turret hit. He's running as fast as he can, but Doinby with the upgraded Hex Core. He catches up, lands the laser. Doinby with the style kill.
Oh, wait, here comes the Ezreal.
Oh, so close. TCT dodges.
Okay, TCT did a great job on the back half of the fight. You saw him right before the dragon fight broke out that he was actually hiding in the back of the red pit. And then he flashed over on the back half. So yeah, TBQ did a great job, had the stronger Smite, was able to secure the dragon for LGD, but immediately the Annie flash over the side to lock down LGD's backline. So great job from TCT.
So LGD shut down the dragon, but Xiaogu shut down LGD with a quick 5 kills. 4 kills, they were able to take that, though Imp does get this turret for free. Blade of the Ruined King has now been used as Imp is doing some serious damage. But TNT walks away.
All of that in a 4v5 too. We're going to go ahead and have the replay. So look at where TCT is positioned. He's going to flash over this wall. He immediately drops that on Acorn. Like you said, the Onslaught of Shadows goes pretty wide, doesn't really hit anyone. But what it's doing is it's creating zone and distance for Godby. Acorn knew that he was dead. He just really needed to buy time, but unfortunately Doinby just too strong at this point, went down.
Yeah, great play from Doinby, secures that kill. It's now 4-9 in favor of Xiaogu, and LGD, despite being up in turrets and shutting down the opportunity of that 31-minute 5th dragon, things have taken a turn for the worse after that last team fight. Godby starting to hit some of those armor pen breakpoints, and Acorn completes the Frozen Heart on top of the Ninja Tabby. Interesting build choices coming out of LGD.
I mean, that said, the gold discrepancy between these two teams is fairly non-existent. So yeah, Xiaogu, they just took a massive team fight. LGD got the tower and the dragon, however, and again, to emphasize, that was still technically a 4v5 that LGD very closely turned.
Yeah.
It was really just another maybe 2 rotations through Godby's Qs if they connected, before that could have completely gone the other way.
We unfortunately didn't get to see that, as Xiaogu playing very strong, hopefully going to be taking another win to shore up that 40% win rate on red side. LGD now going for a couple of recalls after setting up some wards around the Baron buff, as Godby looks for some poke. Doesn't quite find it.
Seeing if he could secure that red buff again. Him and Imp are doing really cute things where they stand together with their poke and they're constantly using Imp's blue trinket to just assist Godby for laying down more piercing arrows.
It's a bit interesting that Xiaogu are buying so much time for V, because he's split pushing quite a bit, and you talked about how powerful he is on Gnar, but he was down, what was it, 30 CS in the beginning of the game?
Yeah, but it's really kind of the difference of Acorn was absorbing and soaking up free CS and free minions, whereas V was trying to make things happen with his team, which is pretty evident in the fact that this is 4-9. That said, again, the CS discrepancy, for every 12 to 13 minions you're ahead, that's pretty much worth 1 kill gold, and that's why these two teams are still relatively close. Likewise, LGD, they do have another structural objective over Xiaogu, but it's mostly in the CS differences between Imp and TNT and Acorn and V.
The poke comes across, but Doinby is able to dodge a lot of it, and V, as you mentioned, opting for a recall. He's going to catch Acorn's wave on the top side, and seems like they're going to perform some musical chairs right now as Acorn recalls, and let's see if he heads back down to the bottom to catch that wave.
And he went for the Frozen Mallet. Okay, so Monty's been a pretty big speaker against the Frozen Mallet. Now, obviously, it works really well against Hecarim on Gnar because it allows him to have bonus slow and to really walk Hecarim down on these elongated lane phases. The problem is it's an item that's really made for lane phases.
Teleport comes out. Looks like Acorn wants to find V. V does have his flash, however. The Onslaught of Shadows slows him right back around. V doesn't burn his flash. He goes down, and Imp gets the kill.
And he just gets shredded because he has no resistances. So he itemized for a lane phase item when he never A, got the 1v1, and B, now he doesn't have his resistances for the big 5v5s. He's effectively just counting on the superficial tankiness that the Mega Gnar resistances and bonus stats will give him.
We'll have to see if it is effective as the poke war has now begun. Recalls coming out of LGD, though Xiaogu smell that something's happening and they decide to chase away the remaining members. Acorn is going to catch that wave on the bottom side. Dragon's up in another minute. Let's see if Xiaogu are going to be able to take that and again continue trying to play for that 5th Dragon win condition, or if instead they're just going to continue focus on straight up beating LGD in team fights.
They have a window of opportunity where they can fully commit to this top tier tower because again, Dragon won't be available for another minute. It's the last standing outer tower, so very easy free pickup for Xiaogu as they'll reset the map, reset the pressure, and start heading towards that Dragon.
We're now 25 minutes into the game and things taking it very slow and patient. LGD are content to let their poke composition do what it does while Xiaogu struggles to stay afloat under the onslaught of arrows that Godvi is tossing out.
Really important itemization that's already come out for LGD is the Aegis of the Legion.
Yeah.
Which will upgrade into the Locket. Now again, I want to point out all of the magic damage on Xiaogu's composition. Echo, Victor, Corki's going to be doing mixed damage, Annie, things like that. So that's very key, especially as we go into this next Dragon fight in 14 seconds. On the other side, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, I'm a huge fan of the Abyssal Scepter right now, just because empowering your entire team that's doing mixed damage, or at least mostly magic damage, with an aura like that is so beneficial, and it's a very cost-efficient item, but Doinby doesn't have one.
An interesting choice right there, and LGD get onto the Dragon immediately as it respawns. Swift looks for the stun, doesn't quite find it, however. Doinby comes over the wall. He gets the Chaos Storm, he gets the steal. Acorn turns onto him, tries to knock him out of the fight, but TCT's in the back. He goes down, and it's actually Imp who's also dead as well. There goes the Gnar Slam, tosses PYL right back in. LGD are running for their lives as TNT chases down Godvi and PYL. Instead, they decide that they're going to want the Scuttle Crab instead, and woo, Swift takes another arrow.
It just looks like a targetable ability every time Godvi does it, but what a fantastic fight. We talked about kind of the AoE spread that Xiaogu have on their composition in a Dragon fight, and it's such a small, confined area. The Chaos Storm was massive, not only securing the Dragon, but just destroying LGD as a unit, especially when V didn't have his Mega Gnar until the very back half of that fight.
Great slam was able to turn that around. Gnar showing that he can still be effective despite only having a Frozen Mallet and those Ninja Tabbies. So with that, Xiaogu managed to steal away the 3rd Dragon. Here's a breakdown. And
again, it's really on Doinby's positioning right here where he drops the Chaos Storm. He's going to hit at least 3 members right now, just 2, but with all of that and with the tank line of LGD forced back onto Doinby to force him out of the fight, TNT untouched. He's a full health Corki and he's just ripping through them.
Yeah, so much damage coming out of TNT. He does take an arrow to the face that forces him to end up backing away, but the stacking from Doinby and TCT was impeccable. Annie stunned to lock down Imp, PYL, and TBQ, and then Doinby just said, what? AoE lockable targets that I have an AoE ability that happens to fit so conveniently on?
Tibbers on Chaos Storm on Gatling Gun.
Yeah.
Just Venn diagram.
Poor Imp was having some serious trouble there, though. You can see he's now completed his own last Whisper. Should be able to shred through a few more targets, though he shows himself on the top side of the map right now. Xiaogu decide to back away and continue playing it safe, as it seems like they're really only committed to taking these team fights if they can find a pick, which is going to be difficult with the distinct lack of vision, or when they have to fight.
It's really about the poke for them. So if we want to talk about the win condition for LGD's team composition, they need to make sure that the, like you said, there is pick potential with the Verisol, but it's really about laying down the Ezreal and Varus poke before they look for a hard engage with tools like Glacial Prism, like Onslaught of Shadows.
We have seen that poke be highly effective, but Xiaogu are doing an excellent job of pulling the trigger prematurely, and LGD that time were sitting in the Dragon Pit, so they did kind of have to force themselves into a fight without getting the opportunity to get poke across in the beginning.
Well, they have so many more tools on the side of Xiaogu to a hard engage fight. Yeah, you're against the Glacial Prism, but LGD, they don't have any sort of reset button. You have a self-sufficient AD carry in Ezreal, but Varus is at the mercy of pretty much Nautilus's Riptide to disengage for him.
And we saw how effective it was when people die. The question is, will it happen again? TCT got the Alacrity upgrade so that he can flash more often, and V, despite being shut down, is getting pretty scary as he builds now into a Phage and eventually into a Black Cleaver.
Going full damage now.
Yeah.
I like it.
He's committed. We'll give him that.
Both teams playing around this Baron area. It's really important for LGD at this point in the game that they need to secure deep vision. So they keep losing these objectives because they keep showing up late to them. They have to be on top of the objective and already have their vision in place because, again, it's about the poke. And you can't land this super long-range poke and be safe if you don't see your opponent. Speaking of being safe.
Yeah, TNT, gosh, he's so fast. Oh, man, the Glacial Prison finds him. Gets a good stun off, but he's going to end up going down here. Yeah, they're blowing a lot to kill TCT, and he finally goes down. Imp's the one who gets the kill. LGD get the pick, though. Xiaogu get the fast track onto the mid-tier 2.
Yeah, meanwhile, chasing our Annie will take your free second-tier mid-tower.
Ooh, there goes the depth charge onto Doinby. He doesn't have his flash, does have cleanse.
He's got a choke point.
Arrow comes across, great choke point, locks down LGD. They chase over the wall. TPQ looking to get in there, but he just can't quite find it. Xiaogu back away.
Yeah, complete, beautiful understanding of where they're going to exit out of that lane, taking the angle straight to the small little choke point so you could set down the gravitational field and walk away scot-free. That said, Desperation Baron?
Just might be from LGD. They
Double
shove
AD
into
comp.
the pit. They do so much damage. You can see them shredding through it right now. Pings are going down. There's a ward in the back of the pit hidden behind the Baron's head. LGD are going to try shredding through. Teleport coming in from V. He's nowhere close to Meganar. Is Swift going to get over the wall in time? He goes for it. He gets the steal. He's going to tread through their damage. This is Xiaogu trying to turn this into the fight, and suddenly LGD have nowhere to run. 2 members go down. Akor's on the back line. He's picking up a kill. TCT going to be chasing Godby. He manages to land the arrow. Imp, what are you doing? Goes aggressive there. Godby. Oh, the dodge. The stun comes out. They turn it around. A huge play from Xiaogu.
Wow. Oh, my God. Swift got the Baron steal. They take the Baron. They take the clean. Wow.
Wow. He had that lined up.
That was beautiful flash from... Okay, that was crazy.
That was awesome. Xiaogu coming up so big. They steal away the Baron, and poor LGD, they found themselves locked in that pit with absolutely nowhere to run to, and all of the AoE from Xiaogu stacked up so clean.
And that was what the big thing, like Swift laying down his parallel convergence, goes in, gets the smite steal, he gets the stun on multiple members, and then immediately, perfectly timed, like you said, with Xiaogu members coming around from the other side and just drop all of their AoE in a confined space. They're thriving in these Dragon and these Baron fights, because again, Venn diagrams, just start stacking your circles.
Yeah, with that Baron, that's going to put Xiaogu in a very confident lead. Now 7,000 gold ahead right now, and they've got the Baron buff and 3 dragons. The 4th one is going to be spawning in about 15 seconds, and here's a breakdown of the fight.
Okay,
oh my
so
gosh.
It's really important that Swift gets in here, gets the steal. That's fantastic. Of course, V also jumps in, but it's just so perfectly timed with Doinby, TNT, and TCT coming around the other corner. And just look at the control and devastation that Doinby wreaks all over that pit.
Yes,
oh, we
such
didn't
a great
get to
play.
see the
There was a
flash.
fight going on right now as Imp tries to get away from TNT, and Godby's already caught out. Swift manages to catch him up, and TNT shreds through his health.
LGD, they just have 0 options on their composition to reset these fights. And Xiaogu, they have too many hard engage tools.
They definitely do. I mean, Xiaogu with that Baron buff, and now they do not actually have the 4th dragon just yet, but they are going to start sieging this mid inhibitor turret. There's a significant lack of wave clear with Varus and Ezreal dead. They'll be up in just a few seconds, but the minion wave is going to make it here by then. Poor Acorn and TBQ are at a loss for words of what to do. The siege begins, and the turret's going to go down.
Just powering through that. We'll see if they put up a front for the inhibitor as Godby is back up. They do have the Glacial Prison available, which is why you kind of see more respect out of Xiaogu.
Yeah, there's the inhibitor stolen. Well, secured more like. And Xiaogu are going to back away. There's a pretty big wave building on the bottom and top side of the map, but Xiaogu look to be clearing that out as they head on over to secure their 4th dragon.
Eating any available resources, taking that red buff.
Oh, they could be setting up a pick on the TBQ. He takes a laser, but is going to be able to pop away from that one. There goes a huge slow. Oh, it's only the slow. Instantly, LGD decide to turn around. Acorn gets in. He destroys Doinby. Swift is in the front line with V, trying to shred through, but Godby and Imp are untouched, and LGD are turning it around. TNT's got to jump the wall. TCT gets caught. Acorn is going to run him down. True to Hecarim's lore. Whoa, good arrow dodge. There goes the challenging spite. He finally drops him, and LGD turn it.
But what would it equate to? They might get a tower off of it. They're certainly not going to be able to trade inhibitors, and it will surely mean a free dragon. So that was a huge swing back in LGD's favor, but they're still on the back foot in this game.
Yeah, they definitely are. TNT still rocking that Baron buff. Might see him make use of it as those side waves are continuing to shove on both the top and bottom side of the map. Hecarim shows himself top, and TNT immediately changes direction and heads out to try defending that tier 2, while LGD secure for themselves the second dragon and postpone that 5th dragon terror that might happen in the waves. They hit the turret at the exact same time. That is so excellent for LGD.
Great side wave management that they typically have. Oh. Okay. So we talked about kind of what the win conditions of the LGD team composition were. Now, obviously, they just made a huge pick, even though the Glacial Prison whiffed on the majority of Xiaogu on Doinby, immediately deleting him from the map before he could drop any of his massive damage. But that's what they need to look for. To do that, they need vision. They need to get their offensive vision. They need to secure their own jungle and their defensive vision. So that's kind of been the big drawback for LGD. They don't have any reset tools, and they've been severely lacking in their vision control and denial for pretty much the majority of the game. Yeah,
it's been all about fights and skirmishes, trying to poke away the enemy team before Acorn rushes in with TBQ hot on his heels. 5 members of LGD show themselves on the bottom side of the map, however. That's Xiaogu. 5 members of Xiaogu show themselves on the bottom side of the map. They could look for this tier 2, and they might just try to burn through its health before LGD can respond. V, he's got a lot of health, not so much armor. Wow, that arrow does some damage. Goodness gracious, the poke comes across, and there goes the engage. Swift finds both Godfrey and him. The stun locks him down, despite the CC lock from TBQ. It's just not enough. The AoE is being tossed out. Imp goes down. Godfrey's dead. Acorn is going to have to clean this up on his own. There's so much AoE, and they just might turn this as Doinby goes low. There's the Chaos Storm. The stuns on top of stuns. TBQ's been fighting on his own for the past 6 seconds. Acorn chases onto Doinby. Is he going to catch him? No, he gets flung right back out. Tries to turn onto Swift. PYL cannot save him. And that's 4 members dead. The Chronosphere is going to find PYL. All 3 have landed stuns. A huge fight for Xiaogu.
That almost turned in LG's favor as well, because the counter engage from TBQ on the Glacial Prison was flawless. That said, Swift, that engage from Fog of War with the parallel convergence wins Xiaogu the fight, as well as another inhibitor.
With that inhibitor going down, this is Xiaogu securing for themselves a 9,000 gold lead. He is alive, so too is Imp. He's going for it. He dashes forward. V's so low. Oh, he's saving it. There he goes. He goes. Oh, narrowly misses. Poor Imp. Not able to land it. Doinby's getting out of there as well. Even the slow coming out from Swift, who perfectly places that Chronosphere. That's 4 Chronospheres, 4 parallel convergences.
Convergicize?
Exactly.
Oh, look at this engage from Swift. This is gorgeous. He sets it so far back, and they lock up the back 2 carry straight into Gnar. But TBQ, kind of the savior for LGD, lands again. Another great Glacial Prison, but it's just too little too late. The gold discrepancy between these 2 teams, that's pretty much what you're seeing here. Victor's just so strong. Excellent kiting. Great use of choke points again on his... Look, the fact that he narrowly pushes himself through the tower, the broken down tower, as well as the wall, and then lays down his gravitational field. It's just such a great understanding of terrain and control about how to play Victor. And this is one of the reasons why Victor, he's a high priority pick everywhere globally, but specifically in the LPL, how potent and devastating he can be to teams.
Ooh, looks like Baron is going to be spawning in 3 seconds. You just saw it ripping through the ground right there as it erupts back onto the rift. LGD and Xiaogu do not want to let the other team secure that. If Xiaogu take it, they can push down that last inhibitor and end up sieging the Nexus itself. However, LGD might just need it to survive right now. Super minions flooding into the base as LGD try to look for a pick, but oh man, they don't clear the ward.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of plays available to LGD. They almost have to sacrifice the Baron. I think the best case scenario is if TBQ could somehow hide himself in Fog of War and look for a steal. But otherwise, Xiaogu, all they need to do is be patient.
Ooh, they might find TBQ here. They turn, and Doinby takes a lot of damage. Acorn dives onto him. Zanius keeps him alive. The AoE stack from LGD turns. Doinby goes low. Doinby goes down. Swift finds Godfrey on the back and punishes him for killing his own carry. Acorn gets onto the back line. He's going to kill TCT here. Imp gets turned around upon by V. He's still alive, but he's going to eat this stun from Swift. He finally goes down. V gets the kill, and Xiaogu take the ace, turning the fight and head to the Nexus.
There was no reason to be that aggressive right there. They just needed to be patient and wait for that bottom tier wave. That said, again, they're so far ahead. They do a great job stacking their AoE and their utility to CC, especially Swift on this Echo, and they take the game.
Yeah, they're rushing forward. One Nexus turret falls. The second one follows shortly thereafter. The Nexus itself is the target of Xiaogu. They're going to take number 1 and put this defeat into the hands of LGD as Xiaogu win the game.
And LGD have to be really scared right now. I mean, Xiaogu, they have a 100% win rate from blue side, and that was from purple side.
Yeah, that was exceptional play out of Xiaogu. I mean, just juggling the poke comp so excellently. And Swift's Echo, oh my gosh.
The confidence to make that engage. Like I said, there was really no reason. Xiaogu had all of the tools available, 2 massive pressure points of super minions that would have been crashing onto LGD's base. They could have been slow and clinical, methodical with their cleanup, but they said, no, we have the confidence, we know we can 5v5 them, and they take it and they body LGD.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, LGD put up some excellent plays. You saw the poke coming out from LGD's Godvi and Imp, but it just wasn't enough. It seems like they would get 1 or 2 little rounds of poke, and then they would decide to fight immediately instead of continuing to harass and try to batter through Xiaogu's health bars.
No, a big issue is the fact that LGD were always so far behind on their vision. Xiaogu did a great job. I mean, even think early, TCT pushing in, getting those deep wards, setting down all of those pink wards, so denying the vision so the poke comp can't lay down and contest for objectives. And then the zero disengage. There was no reset tools. Even something as simple as Janna would have really made the difference in a double AD comp against that much hard engage from Xiaogu.
Yeah, well, we'll see if LGD are going to be able to take it in game number 2. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Prioritize Sejuani, the hard engage, versus a good reset, knowing that they were going to take Varus and Ezreal.
And that was after TBQ had hovered the Lee Sin, but we're now in pick and ban for game number 2 between Xiaogu and LGD. Thresh being stricken away from PYL once again, and interestingly enough, Annie taken away from TCT. Apparently, they gave that a lot of credit.
That was beautiful. Some of the sneaky plays that he did, hiding in that red buff and then flashing over the wall. He locked up multiple members of PYL, Imp, and Godvi with his tippers, so I like the respect.
Oh, there's the Kalista ban for TNT. All they have to do now is take away that Sivir as well. Is Xiaogu debating that last ban right now?
It's a little bit scary to do so just because TNT had a fantastic performance on his Corki last game. Of course, Doinby got the MVP, but I feel like multiple members across Xiaogu were deserving of that title last set.
They really played so very strong. Echo is the last ban taken away from LGD on that side of the map, and Victor taken away from Doinby. So, bit of an interesting twist this time around with Kalista off the board. That leaves Alistar still open for Xiaogu. We could see that priority pick out of TCT, or they could let that go over and try to focus on the the Sivir instead. Instead, they're looking at Hecarim right now.
I feel like Sivir means more for them as a team. That said, Hecarim is a big power pick. And again, the thing about LG, not that Flame can't play Hecarim, just that Acorn's gotten his hands on it more. That said, LG, I think they have to take Sivir second rotation because you can't give Sivir Hecarim to the same team. So this pretty much forces LG to pick up the Sivir by picking up the Hecarim, and then Xiaogu can mind game them. Okay, we know that they're going to play Sivir, so what do you want to play into that?
Just like that, Imp locks in Sivir. TBQ looking at Alistar for PYL. That leaves Nautilus wide open for TCT with Annie off of the map and Thresh taken as well. Looking at Zed right now. I don't think that's actually going to be true.
Yeah, they have to take Alistar. I'm curious if they'll actually pick up a Varus as an AD carry and try to deny that double deny from Godvi. That side with the flash of Zed, he could be wanting to go a different direction.
Yeah.
But not surprising here. Again, second rotation typically from Xiaogu after a priority pick. They prioritize their bot lane very highly on blue side.
Exactly what it is as TCT hovering over that Janna right now. We'll see if they do end up getting another pick for TNT. There are a lot of AD carries still open. He already knows what that duo is going to be. Looking at Lucian right now to go against the Sivir Alistar of Imp and PYL. Possibly could be a lane swap to try shutting down Flame, but it's locked in. That's Lucian, and there's Janna.
That's a direct response to the Alistar Sivir, so it tells me that Xiaogu are looking for that 2v2. Now, the reason why Lucian does really well into Sivir, because you think Lucian's a caster. What do you mean? Sivir has a spell shield. She should be able to absorb a lot of his damage. How his spells and how his rotation work on her spell shield is very different than how Corki's going to work. Obviously, Corki's going to drop his Phosphorus Bomb. Sivir can eat that. She can eat the Graves Buckshot, and then she can attempt to look for an out trade on the Boomerang. Whereas Lucian, he's going to quickly go through all sets of his abilities, not just to get the bonus flat damage on his, piercing light hitting you, but the double tap more importantly. Likewise, how his Gatling gun, the culling, the first proc only ticks off the spell shield, and then Sivir has to eat the rest of it. So he's often regarded as a soft counter.
Interesting to see that picked up, and that will be a soft counter to that bottom lane. LGD decide to respond by sending Flame in the top on Rumble. And TBQ, he covered it last game, but he decides to lock it in this time around. He's going to go on to the more comfortable Lee Sin.
He is having quite a champion pool issue now. Lee Sin is his signature champion. That said, does offer a bit of a reset, but they're looking for all hard engage, so this would have been the perfect comp for the Sejuani, especially as Flame is also taking that Rumble for some long-range hard engage.
Yeah, certainly is, and Xiaogu decide to respond by putting Doinbi on Lulu to follow Swift around as he decides to go for Gragas, and Godby locks in the Ahri.
So, speaking of signature picks, now Godby's #1 play champion is always going to be his Orianna, but very close to #2. He worked this in his rookie year. His Ahri is incredible. So, everyone's going back to their comforts. They want to win this game. They know that they have an uphill battle against that Xiaogu blue side.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to take this 100% win rate from Xiaogu and turn it into a 95% win rate. Or probably closer to about 90 or so. But still, it's exciting.
That SKT-esque composition from Xiaogu. I mean, it's very much what SKT run when Bang is on Lucian, having double shield, Faker on Lulu in the mid lane. This time around, it's Doinbi, obviously.
Yeah.
As well as Lulu, Janna. So really empowering their AD carry. And again, this is kind of, if you're looking for a trend, why do Xiaogu have such a higher win rate on blue side than they do on purple side? It's because they prioritize their bot lane picks higher up. They have a tendency to priority pick that Sivir and Kalista. This time around, it's the Lulu, but you look at, again, star-studded roster, people will point at Swift. He's a fantastic jungler. He's the carry of Xiaogu. TNT is an incredible AD carry, and he can put this team on his back.
He has been playing out of his mind in the past few days, and we'll see if he's going to be able to do it in this one as we're getting into game #2. And you just saw the rosters on the screen right there, but I'm actually really intrigued. Xiaogu, they're going for that SKT-style composition. I mean, SKT have won with it before. They've shown how incredibly strong it can be, and LGD, they've got a tricky fight to face.
Empower Lucian, but they have multiple damage threats should Lucian fall off. But Lulu, mid-bridge champion is what I'm going to call her. She does well in the lane phase, but then again, it's about giving TNT all of the tools to succeed.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if Xiaogu can maintain that 100% win rate as we load into the Rift right now. And we have loaded onto the Rift. It's Xiaogu versus LGD, game #2 of this set. And once again, Xiaogu, 100% win rate on the blue side so far. LGD lost game #1, but they're going hard on the comfort pick Lee Sin, and more importantly, the comfort pick Ahri. Can they put an end to Xiaogu's win rate?
Uphill battle, but they have, again, the proper tools. So we kind of covered what Xiaogu's composition is going to be. They have the 2 hardest resets in the game with the Cask as well as the Monsoon. It's about empowering TNT on his Lucian, and then you have V, who will probably build or itemize resistances and then into damage, so they do have a secondary carry threat come late game. On the other side, it is the murder train, press go. Anytime Sivir is in a composition, they want to run at you, and they want to run very quickly. But more importantly, they have great Dragon objective control, not just because of Rumble, but of course Lee Sin, his ability to steal away these objectives, and then Ahri setting up for picks. It all goes back to vision control for LGD, though. They need to make sure that they're on top of these objectives before the enemy team, that they're setting up proper vision so they can look for picks, and they're being very creative about how they approach these team fights.
That's something that we saw a bit of a lack of in game #1. LGD had the poke-based composition, but they didn't always have the vision to back it up and would end up taking fights without having full knowledge of Xiaogu's position on the map, and that ended up biting them quite a bit. Godby now in the mid lane on that very safe Ahri, not even going to be taking a skin as he's feeling, you know what, I'm going to go back to the old school days and return to it. So we'll have to see if that is going to be a... if the vision weaknesses are going to be fixed by LGD, if they can solve that problem.
The mind games right now. Doinbi didn't want to tunnel himself into that small little hole in between the wall and his tower because it would give Godby a free empowered Q on the lifesteal, which is why he kept kiting upwards. He was waiting for Godby to throw the Q. And kind of speaking a little bit to the mechanics of the Lulu versus Ahri matchup, the trick is when you go to see someone auto attacks, which is why Godby is pushing him in, so that way there's more minions in front of Lulu that she has to focus on. you have to think of your auto attack almost as a mini CC because you're in that position for the duration of the auto attack animation, and it's a very free Q from Ahri. And it's really important on Ahri that you hit the Q at maximum range so you get that quick double tap because obviously it'll do more damage as it comes back to her.
We'll have to see if God V is going to be able to maintain that aggression onto Doinb, as it looks like there was a lane swap that occurred. V now teleporting down to the bottom after helping Swift clear a few camps, and Flame teleporting up to the top. So it looks like TNT and TCT, they did set up a freeze, but LGD just cracked that thing wide open.
See how they'll respond, especially because Swift is on that side of the jungle. So really prioritizing trying to put Flame down and him behind on his Rumble. And again, the fact that Flame is playing Rumble as opposed to Acorn, it kind of shows how LGD have been treating their two top laners.
Definitely shows the aggressive style from Flame and the slightly more herbivorous style.
There's the Swippy swap.
Herbivorous Swift going to clear out the Scuttle Crab right now, but he's spotted out. TBQ finds Doinb. He lands right onto Doinb's face. Sonic Wave finds him, but he cannot chase in time as Doinb makes it back under his tier 1.
Yeah, Gavi was in no position to assist on that gank right there, even with the red buff. At best, he could have possibly looked for a flash charm, but there were so many creeps and he was so far down the lane that he wasn't able to chain CC.
It's one of the downsides of shoving your wave in super hard early on. Yeah, you can cause your opponent to miss a few minions, but when it bounces back, it ends up becoming really tricky to find that counter gank or turn around onto the aggressive laner. I
mean, more importantly, he's denied it and created a slight CS advantage for himself. We'll see if he's able to expand on that. Lulu is just... she's a lane bully. She's got so many tools. Ahri is always going to be a skill matchup no matter pretty much any matchup that he's in. But Lulu has so many tools. Shield, poke.
Finds Imp on the bottom side of the map. He's all on his lonesome down here. He's taking a long way around, dishing out auto attacks onto V, who's trying to heal it up as best he can. Here's TBQ, who rushes down with the Scuttle Crab. Is he going to find V? He lands the Sonic Wave. They're diving it now. Is it going to be first blood? It is, and he flashes to get out alive. TBQ styling with Imp, and Swift cannot save his fallen friend.
Beautiful juggling of Sivir's passive right there to make sure that he kept weaving the auto attack so he can continue to kite Hecarim around to create time and space for TBQ to get involved on the back half of that. And a beautiful Sonic Wave. TBQ, that's his signature champion, and he's showing why.
Yeah, he was holding on to that for quite a while now. You just saw some pings going down on the Dragon from LGD, but TBQ at such low health doesn't think he can contest it, while Flame continues to catch all this CS on the top side of the map. So things going pretty well for LGD. They've got pressure in the mid lane, they've got pressure in the bottom lane with that first kill on Imp, and even Flame is about 13 CS ahead of V. So LGD certainly seem to be on track to shore up some of those problems from game 1.
I feel like this is actually a mistake from Xiaogu. So with V dying, they had a window of opportunity where they could look to swap the lanes back, because obviously Hecarim will be in the base, and it timed really well with Lucian and Janna pushing back for their first initial back. But instead, they send TCT down to double support, or excuse me, roam with Swift, and TNT back up into the top lane. So Dragon control is still firmly in LGD's hands, and unfortunately they're not winning this lane swap. I mean, I guess Flame has a CS advantage, but I don't know. Kind of curious. They're really prioritizing putting Flame down when it's not really working for them.
Yeah, not so far, as he's got that 20 CS lead now, and it seems like V is actually forced to recall as he's being shoved away from all of this pressure from Imp. On first recall, it's a BF sword from that first blood and only a pickaxe for TNT on the other side. So the wave is going to hit the turret, and nobody's going to be here to catch it. V doesn't have teleport, and Xiaogu are going to miss a lot of this CS. What do they take to try to counteract this?
They can't do anything. They should have lane swapped. They sacrificed a lot of their pressure here, and again, it's not like their top laners ahead that they're sacrificing the lane swap and Dragon control to keep their top laner ahead. Their top laner is very firmly behind, 19 CS to 40. So LGD are winning this on all fronts, Dragon control as well as the top lane CS discrepancy.
Yeah, so now that's another wave going down, and Ping's going to hit the Dragon. Flame's in a tricky spot as 4 members are on the top side of the map. He's got to know something's tricky coming on. He's got the equalizer. Oh, he actually drops himself into the silence.
It's going to be curious how he uses it, or if he's just going to give and sacrifice the tower for the Dragon trade, because he can use the equalizer to clear the creep wave to buy time. He can use it when they attempt to dive him to try to trade 1-for-1. But I think, yeah, they're just going to trade the tower away for the Dragon.
Yeah, so Dragon number 1 secured by LGD. Xiaogu answer by trying to take that top tier 1, sending all 4 members onto that side of the map. Even Doinb going up there. as he dodges one of those orbs of deception from Godvi. And the culling even being used to try clearing that minion wave as quickly as possible. Imp, however, is going to answer by taking that bottom tier 1. Teleport finally back up for V. He doesn't have level 6 just yet. So all in all, LGD feeling very confident with this, even stealing away the jungle.
They didn't even take the tower. It's very low. They're trying to deny as much CS and experience, but LGD still firmly in control as they get the dragon and the tower advantage over Xiaogu.
Yeah, it's Imp who's going to be the first one taking the turret. It's going to be answered very soon on that top side of the map by TNT as he shoves it out. Oh, V gets caught way out of position. Doinby manages to save him, but he's almost certainly going to go down here. The charm misses. He goes so low. TBQ kicks him down. It's Imp who gets the kill. Teleport is going to succeed for Flame. They now dive onto Doinby. Knock up, fine. Swift. POL's taking it. They're 2 turrets deep. LGD pick up 3 kills now. 2 kills off of this, and they're going to get out.
Flame using his shield. Everyone goes really low as they walk to the tower. V, what are you doing, buddy? You can't invade on that side of the map. LGD have the numbers advantage. Walking in there is a death trap, as you just saw.
Yeah, finally that top tier 1 is going to go down for Xiaogu, but they just gave up another 2 kills. But one of them on Imp, and he got the assist. So Imp is sitting on a mountain of gold. He picks up a pickaxe and now that Avarice Blade. And Flame, interestingly enough, decides to go for his Seekers with that kill of his own. But all in all, LGD are snowballing this advantage pretty effectively.
This is something that Flame does. Rushes his Hourglass or has it very early rotation in his Rumble build, which, unsurprising, he's so far ahead of V right now,
Yeah.
not just in the CS, but more importantly in the experience. And that's super important when, again, LGD, they've already completely reversed their trend of last game, and they've taken full control over the dragon. And they have a dragon fighting composition with this Rumble. Obviously, his level 2 ultimates and level 3 ultimates will time very nicely with that timer. So watch for how Flame really takes control of this game on the Rumble pick.
As you can see on the gold right now, it's about 800 gold ahead for Flame and another 800 for Imp, whereas Godvi is only about 200 ahead in his lane. And with that swing, they're going to send Godvi down to the bottom lane. Imp and PYL feeling awful comfortable in the mid. Oh, Imp might be caught out here. Heal gets burned. They could try to turn it around. The boomerang does
nice.
so much damage, and Doinby barely stays alive. There's the flash cast. TBQ gets knocked into the culling. They get revenge for their fallen comrade. PYL, despite being a muffin, is so tanky. He's trying to run under the turret, but he's not going to make it. He knocks Swift in. He's doing so much damage. Swift goes down. Imp is so strong. There's the equalizer. They turn it onto Doinby. This has turned into a full fight. Godby's even joined the fight now. V comes in. The onslaught of shadows keeps TNT alive. Flash gets it out. It's Flame who gets the kill. V's going low right now. The overheat cannot quite find it. Is he going to
the
land?
creep wave!
Oh, the creep wave makes it exactly. And V barely gets out alive.
What a nice teleport from Flame to turn that fight and make sure that LGD at least trade even for that. They will get a lot of damage onto this tower. We'll see if they can actually take it because of size up. Nope, TCT to the rescue.
Yeah, he's keeping it up as best he can. The charm comes out for Godby as he's got blue buff. He can toss out those orbs and charms left and right.
That was a really great adaptation from Xiaogu. So this is something that's become very standard in the LPL. As soon as the AD carries are finished kind of taking these side lanes, they immediately rotate them into the mid lane because obviously the mid tower is the last standing outer tower other than that top tier tower for them. And then they rotate the mid laner into the bottom side because again, you don't want your mid laner and your AD carry to share the same income of gold, which again, we see Imp immediately farming it up in that mid lane. Xiaogu, I mean, this is so obvious. This is standard. They know that this is going to happen. What do? They set up and they send all of their resources to the mid lane to try to make some quick picks. But a beautiful teleport and gorgeous damage from Flame pretty much destroyed that fight. Look at how fed this Rumble is.
2-0-1 right now, going for the Sork Pen boot second for some immediate damage should any more fights break out. And whoa, on the hunt actually used by Imp right here as he scares away TNT and TCT. And they continue shoving it down as it's about a 15 CS lead in favor of Imp. And in the mid lane, Godvi, well, I guess now in the bottom lane, Godvi's got about a 30 CS lead on his own and another 30 CS lead for Flame. So all in all, this laning phase going huge for LGD.
Yeah, Xiaogu really misplayed the initial early game, which gave LGD the lead, which allowed them to really come back and win that fight. That said, it was a beautiful adaptation, and the bright light here for Xiaogu is that TNT, who their composition is effectively built around, is still doing okay. 3-1-0. I mean, he's down in CS, but it's not massive compared to kind of his side lane or his solo laners.
Yeah, and take a look at what he's building. Instead of going for an Avarice Blade, he actually picked up the Crit Cloak, so he could be going for that Infinity Edge as quickly as possible to try to increase his effectiveness. Now, Flame,
He's going to go Eye Edge into Static Shiv, especially with the Lulu there on his team, because again, he needs to be that late game Lucian damage threat, and by having the Whimsy and just kind of the speed augment that Lulu is going to supply to him, he's going to get more Static Shiv procs.
Dragon's now up in 40 seconds. And one of the problems that we talked about for LGD in their previous game was their trouble with vision control. Take a look at the map right now. They have got wards all over the place. Xiaogu, however, are answering it. PYL looking for some harassment on the Swift, doesn't find it. If LGD can continue keeping vision like this, I think they might be able to be comfortable.
What's really interesting about LGD historically with their vision control is that, hold on, V and TBQ, he's got it. He's good, we're good. Is that Godv was actually really important to the vision control.
Whoa, V actually had to use his onslaught to get over the wall, and Dragon's up in 4 seconds.
He was stuck between a rock and a hard place known as PYL, Flame, and TBQ.
Yeah.
Godv was actually really responsible for a lot of LGD's vision control just because TBQ is never really a vision-oriented style of jungler. That said, with his recent pickup of Varus, it's very dangerous for Varus to kind of walk into a dark river and place down wards, whereas Ahri, Orianna are more of his comfort picks, and it's so easy for Ahri to set up for pink wards and vision denial because obviously she has her ultimate available. So immediately we see kind of the shift in the trend in mid lane, and suddenly LGD look far more confident with their vision control, even picking up that second dragon. Yeah,
with that second dragon, LGD are looking very strong to continue snowballing their advantage. 3,500 gold ahead of Xiaogu, and ooh, Swift actually does manage to get the Krug right there despite Godv attempting to contest it while he continues putting pressure on the bottom side of the map, and Imp, just being a bully in that mid lane, tries to continue shutting TNT down. They haven't been too effective so far as he's now picked up an Avarice Blade of his own instead of finishing off the Infinity Edge, but Imp going for the standard LPL style build, raw damage, and before getting crit, going for more attack speed.
Yeah, it's about being as cost efficient as possible to push down towers as quickly as possible. So obviously the upgraded boots are going to give you a much more bang for your buck in pushing down those towers with the attack speed versus having the Infinity Edge complete. Especially because Dragon's down, there's no big 5v5 arena that Imp really needs to itemize that crit chance for.
So with that Dragon down, we've got about a 5-minute window now. There's really not that much that LGD can contest that as I say that they fight over this blue buff right now. Oh, man.
No, but you're absolutely right. There's no big objective for them to contest, which is why they're invading and looking for kind of these smaller paper cut choke points. Bleed them dry. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we get those 1,000 paper cuts.
There we go. There's another one.
Yeah, as that mid tier 1 turret finally goes down, Imp is successful in breaking it. Now the last one remaining is on the top side of the map, and Flame, he's all on top of that thing. A full 40 CS ahead.
Classic Flame.
And he's shoving that thing under the turret as quickly as possible. We'll see if Imp actually decides to stay in the mid lane or decides to swing up to try taking down that turret.
He's got his double penetration available to him now. The Haunting Guys as well as the Sork Boots. Still has the Seeker's Arm Guard, so he had initial resistances available to him for when he teleported into that big team fight, picked up his double kill. See where he's going to go from here. I would assume that he's going to complete his Hourglass, but...
Yeah, we'll definitely have to find out as Godv picks up for himself an Etherwisp on top of that Athene, so he should be looking for the...
Luden's Echo.
Luden's next. And interestingly enough, Imp is going to be able to finish off his Infinity Edge before TNT with that increased global gold, 3,300 now. And Xiaogu are still hot on their heels. It's only about a 300 gold difference between those 80 carries.
We're starting to come to the point in the game, though, where Lulu's really lost her effectiveness in a 1v1. We'll see how Doinby decides to itemize, if he's going to go for more flat AP to empower his wild growth, or if he's going to look towards penetration to try to be... I call it the difference between the Faker Lulu and kind of the other standard Lulus, is Faker likes Lichbane, but hold on.
Yeah, PYL shows himself onto the top side of the map. He immediately knocks up V. There goes the equalizer, and V is forced to jump out of it. Junk down to half health. TCT's on this side of the map, but so are 4 other members of LGD. They might find Swift right here. They do indeed. Lots of damage coming across. Boomerang goes wide for Imp, but he's just going to clear out this ward, and this tier 1 goes down.
Pretty easy secure right there. Great class from LGD. Again, their vision is just a 180 from last game. And is he going to go on that? Don't do it.
Yeah, TCT is thinking about it. He's like, there's a pink ward, man. That's 30 gold. 30 whole gold. That's like 2 minions. You know how much that's worth to a support?
He's a jungler. Hold on, Swift.
Oh, not TBQ, TNT.
Oh. I was looking at TBQ on the Sonic Wave. That said, LGD have created a, not a sizable wave, but a bit of a pressure point into the mid lane. They shouldn't be able to translate this into a tower, but possibly get some damage.
Yeah, they're clearing that right on out.
Nothing.
Imp gets a good crit, clears it away, and so far it seems like LGD are on track to continue putting pressure onto Xiaogu as they've now increased to a 5,000 gold lead over LGD. Godvi is going to send himself up to the top side.
Okay, so Dragon now just procced for the 2-minute timer. So what Godvi's doing is he's walking up to the top side to get rid of that building wave on top. Should probably set himself up for a slow push. See if he touches the cannon. Yeah, okay, so he's just going to reset that wave entirely. Likewise, Imp was pinged for the red buff. He should walk over and take that away from TBQ, but it's about setting themselves up for this Dragon that will be spawning in 1 minute 30, taking control of their side waves. You see Flame in the bottom side, Godby was just up in the top side, resetting the map.
Flame's got to be careful here. Dodges the explosive cask, reads Swift like a book, and gets out of there alive. Drops the trinket, sees 2 members, instantly back flashes away to get out with his life, and Flame still doing good, but Swift, that's a big cooldown.
Think of how many times they've ganked Flame, and how unsuccessful it's been.
Yeah, Flame is in a really good spot right now. Doesn't actually have an opportunity to recall just yet as he follows PYL on the invade as they look to set up some awful deep boards. And right now, TBQ are scaring Xiaogu back, and they look to be on track to shut down the 100% win rate that Xiaogu have maintained on the blue side of the map. Luden's Echo completed for Godv means he'll be able to get so much bonus damage off in fights. Red buff even stolen away. V's on the top side of the map, and well, they do have vision of what LGD are doing. They just can't contest it.
Yeah, LGD, great job moving into the Dragon side of the map, setting down that deep vision so they can secure this objective. And this is what we're typically used to seeing from LGD, very macro-oriented, very methodical, and a lot of pre-planning and proactive play from them when they set up for these objectives. So we see their back timers. They timed around the 30-minute, or the 30-second point, excuse me, for that Dragon, because again, it takes about 30 seconds to walk from base to that Dragon pit, but this should be another free, easy pickup for LGD, especially because Xiaogu, they're just not really in position for this.
Yeah, they are not ready at all. V's on the top side of the map dealing with the shove that was set up by Godby a few minutes ago. And now the Dragon spawns. Xiaogu are nowhere even close to that. LGD secure for themselves the 3rd Dragon.
They're really out of position because a massive wave, again, LGD and their forethought and planning, when they set up for Dragons, they create these big, massive slow pushes in their side waves. So if a fight happens at Dragon, they can then quickly rotate it into another objective like this bottom tier tower.
Yeah, and they're on the tier 2 right now. Doingby gets some great wave clear, clears that thing right on out. Then they swing up towards the mid lane again, utilizing all of those wards that they set up in the jungle as Godby shoves it forward. He's only got 4 minions with another wave coming shortly behind it, but they can just slowly chip away at the turret. They'll be able to make it effective.
They're just looking for a pick right now. They're going to keep rotating in between all of these towers, setting up their vision around Baron, and it's about their non-committal CC. A charm lands on the right target. This game will immediately explode for LGD.
Yeah, Imp is going to secure that blue buff. Godby got his own. All in all, that's the 4 buffs going over to LGD. They took all 4 off of the swing with some perfectly timed rotations. Imp going to secure the scuttle here. And Ping's now going down onto the mid lane to try catching LGD out of position and steal away that tier 1 before they can respond, but Imp's still there.
LG, they did a fantastic job resetting their map, securing all of the buffs.
Oh, looks like they might catch Doinby here. Sonic Wave lands. Is he going to be knocked up? Immediately is. Doinby's very close here. They're going to dive, and they actually force the flash out of Doinby.
Oh, hold on, here comes a flank.
He lands the Sonic Wave. Oh, isn't able to follow it up, though. Yeah.
Just crit on a Shiv proc and half-healthed TCT in 1 auto.
Yeah, pretty awesome. They're even going to look to steal away the Raptor camp right now as it gets pulled off of the cask that Swift tossed down. Even dropping a pink, POL is just going to bully it away.
It's actually really important to deny the Raptor camp, especially because they have so much vision control on that side, because obviously that'll deny the Raptor buff of the popping for ward locations.
Razor sharp.
Is that what it's called?
It is. Because you're sharp enough to see the wards that spot you.
A really fun location to ward is right underneath the red buff, so opposite of where TBQ is standing in the opening, because it'll immediately proc the Raptor camp as soon as they clear it, but it's such a weird place to ward that often they won't find it. And it's still a relatively high traffic area for the enemy team to move through there, so fun tip for solo queue, if you want to mess with the enemy jungler, ward right underneath the red camp.
Oh, Imp trying to get some harass down on the bottom side of the map. TCT is caught out in his own jungle. PYL tries to turn it, but just going to end up zoning them away as the Monsoon was used defensively, and immediately LGD swing down to the bottom. V's down there, but he's just not going to be able to defend this. As the turret gets shredded, the tier 2 goes down as LGD flexing their superior muscle.
And this is what LGD have always been known for, not just with the addition of Flame and Imp, but even if you go back to Rina and Star as their top and mid laner. Even before Godv at that point, they were a macro-oriented team, and of course the one consistency between all of those rosters is PYL and his macro shot calling. It's always been this very textbook, methodical, I like to call it proactive. They're one of the most proactive teams in the LPL when they're on point.
Very interesting to see how that's working out. Now, Xiaogu, they're not out of this just yet. They're down 3 dragons, they're down 3 turrets, they're down 3 kills. Heck, they would almost be down 3,000 gold if it weren't for the extra 2,000 that LGD are ahead. What do they do to get themselves back into this? They're trying to wait it out, but do they have the time?
It's really important to understand that Xiaogu understand that they are behind. They know that they have to take the right fight, that they just can't run to everything, which is why they've really kind of been sacrificing a lot of their objectives as opposed to really trying to commit and fight for them. Because they don't want a snowball lead for LGD, they're being very patient, trying to keep their defensive vision up and take small skirmishes and figure out where LGD's weak points are. So Xiaogu are still playing this incredibly smart. They understand that they're behind, and it's about figuring out when they can go for it, typically with a numbers advantage or a pick.
Well, they're continuing to look for it right now as they run back and forth through the jungle. TBQ looks to steal the red buff away once again, but he's spotted out by Swift. Both of the junglers, no, actually, TBQ has Smite. Swift does not, as Flame continues to peel it away. Culling goes out, and
but again,
yeah, they pick it up.
They know exactly, we can't fight this. The best that we can look for, the best play in this scenario is to just try to steal it away with the culling. So it would be inaccurate to say that Xiaogu are just giving LGD the game. They're being very smart about how they take their engagements.
Yeah, Godv might catch TCT here. Tornado gets charged up. The Flash Charm lands. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. The Exhaust even gets burned, and Godv using the Flash aggressively. TCT trades it for the Exhaust.
Big cooldown trade right there. That said, Ari's not going to be in too much trouble, especially because she still has her ultimate available. The dragon will be spawning in 1 minute. Now, Xiaogu, again, they're still not really in position to fight for this dragon, but Godv being really aggressive. If they get a pick on him, that would immediately turn advantage for Xiaogu to, okay, this is our window of opportunity. This is when we can start to look towards fighting LGD.
Some of the wards now being cleared out for LGD as Xiaogu start to sweep through their own jungle. Godv continuing to be as much of a nuisance as possible. Now he's stealing away the Krugs from Xiaogu, using that very strong Bluden's Echo to proc it. Now, timely recall happens from LGD as they build up some important items.
Look.
And start heading over towards that dragon.
Flame pushing the top side to create a pressure point, so he can then walk to the dragon, and it'll force V to respond, hopefully. And then they'll have a numbers advantage on the dragon pit. This is textbook LGD. This is them. This is what they were famous for.
I think the exciting thing, though, is that they're doing it to Xiaogu, a team who have not lost on the blue side, despite having priority pick. Whoa, TNT actually gets the blue right there.
Xiaogu are really good at 5v5ing, and that's kind of the beauty. Yeah, LGD have a strong 5v5 composition, but more importantly, they have a very strong objective control composition, as well as not just in monster objectives, but in structural objectives. So if it comes to a 5v5, yeah, they have all the tools that they can look for that, and they can engage Xiaogu head on, but more importantly, they're just running them around and denying them their strength.
Dragon has been engaged. They're trying to shred through its health as quick as they can. They do succeed. That's Dragon 4. PYL might be caught here as Xiaogu are grouped up. The flash stun finds Godv. He doesn't have his own flash. He goes low. He's still alive on the backside of the fight. Imp being chased out by V as he's continuing kited over the wall. V doesn't manage to get the kill as he's chaos in the front lines. It's a double kill now for Imp. PYL's trying to keep Imp alive. The huge Monsoon knocks him in. TNT's cleaning it up though. Godv's still alive on the back with Flame. And it's all in all a 1 for 3 in favor of LGD. They still have a lot of pick. PYL lands the knockup onto TNT. Are they going to follow it up with the charm? He goes low. Oh! The crit shreds through his health. And Godv with the fadeaway trades it right back over.
Oh my god, hold on. Here comes the teleport. Okay, no, he could just cancel it and push the wave. Okay, it was Flame's teleport. Oh my god, that was fantastic. So we talked about, Xiaogu, they're not just letting LGD have the game. They understand that they're behind. They just have to look for the perfect engagement. And the perfect engagement was on catching Godby out of position with the quick CC into the cask. It forced Godby to use his ultimate defensively to reposition himself as opposed to offensively and look for a pick. That was best case scenario for Xiaogu, and from fancy footwork and outplay potential on TNT, they almost get away with it. But a great turnaround from LGD. So here we go. This is the play that I'm talking about. Knock Godby immediately into the enemy team, and he's forced to burn all 3 procs of the Ariel just to get himself back into perfect position. From here, it's really just TNT. Again, he's got so many tools on this Lucian. This is what the comps build for. So many shields and speed up. PYL, bit of a misplay right there. He actually pops Lucian directly into Imp, and then he just explodes him with an immediate static shiv proc.
Yeah, great play right here. Here comes Godby's awesome fadeaway. Look at the crit on PYL. Boom! Shred through his health. The charm lands. Oh man, Godby. Huge play.
It just tapped his childbearing hips too.
Oop, there
just
goes
slightly
the,
too big.
Flash over the wall as PYL finds Swift right here. CC lock comes out, but V's able to disengage it like billiard balls. LGD scatter, but they're continuing to chase as they collect themselves together. 2 kills as they kill TNT. Doinby goes low. 3 kills now, and it's turning into 4 kills as LGD are going to look for an ace right here. V's the sole survivor. They're going to try diving. No, they back away at the last second. That was actually a fight on 2 fronts.
And this will be the free Baron. And again, LGD, they're very much ahead. Xiaogu can only fight when they have the perfect circumstance. In the last fight, it was, finding that excellent opening on Godby. So it's really unfortunate because Xiaogu are playing really well, but LGD, this is the team that we're talking about. This is why we still consider them elite.
Yeah, the Baron is secured by LGD, and with that, they now open up to a nearly 10,000 gold advantage. They've got 4 dragons, they've got Barons, they're 9 kills ahead. Here's the fight on the other side. TNT finds Flame, but can't make anything happen.
Oh, beautiful Hourglass to allow Godby to close the gap distance there.
Oh,
Flame
man.
showing him the leg.
Godby, so strong right now, just does so much damage. Getting a Rabadon's and then a Haunting Guise for more penetration. He's playing so excellently this game, 4-0-5, and I mean, all of LGD are just playing so together and as a team. Oh, Knockup doesn't find TNT.
Godby is really creative about how he approaches team fights and how he moves about the map, and just the vision and the wave control that he supplies LGD when he's on high mobility champions, his LeBlanc, his Ahri, things like that. Him on the Varus, it looks super impressive because he's able to hit those incredible skill shots, but it's really impacting LGD's vision control and how they do approach these 5v5s. You see an immediate upgrade, especially against a team like Xiaogu, who are so good in a 5v5, just kind of the difference of the potential of the team. This is what we're talking about. Again, I'm going to hit it all day long. LGD, they may be in, what, 8th, 10th?
Yeah, 8th.
They are still one of the best teams in the LPL.
They certainly are. With that Baron buff, they dash forward. The cask is huge. TBQ is forced to jump over the wall, but PYL forces the disengage with a huge knockup. And despite that excellent cask, the only thing they managed to do is clear the wave.
Just gotta survive, gotta hold out against the Baron. LGD, one thing they didn't do is they didn't prep their waves. They do have a big wave forming on the top side, but bot side's not looking too good for them. So they don't have many pressure points to play with here, and this is going to be a slow and methodical siege. Look for non-committal CC. If a charm hits on a target they like, immediately Flame and PYL will jump.
See if that's the case, and as they continue choking down that turret just inch by inch, finally they decide to back away and start dealing with some of those split waves.
Yeah, but because they didn't prep ahead of time, they lose a ton of their momentum and pressure on this Baron.
Ooh, might find a pick onto Swift right here. Godby, misses the charm just barely. Well, actually, that was more like a lot. Swift dashes in. Remember, he has no cask, and Godby's actually forced to Spirit Rush in order to make it out.
I think he was actually looking for a counter charm right there, but a little bit of indecisive and miscommunication on timing windows there.
Yeah, so Dragon's up in a minute. This is Dragon 5. LGD did take the Baron buff. They were able to take down that mid-tier 2 turret, but not able to take any inhibitors just yet. If they take Dragon 5, the next team fight will go in their favor, as they've already shown they've got some pretty scary breakpoints that they're hitting.
And this big kind of swell of momentum and just full control that LGD have demonstrated really started in the early game. And I hate to go back and hammer onto that lane swap, but I feel like that's where Xiaogu really dropped the ball. They just fumbled their early game initial lane swap against Flame, allowed him to get ahead. There was that fantastic teleport in the mid lane that then snowballed Flame into a double kill. And from there, they've used the power of Flame, the power of God V, to siege and control pretty much every single objective on the map, be it the Dragon, the Baron, and more importantly, these red and blue buffs.
Yeah, the buffs have not been easy for Xiaogu to pick up. Every single one seems to be stolen, or if not contested at the very least. Dragon has spawned, and LGD are going to try shredding through it. Swift waiting over the wall. He's got the cask. Is he going to go for the steal right now? He makes it over in.
Oh!
He gets the steal with the culling. Xiaogu denied Dragon number 5, but LGD might just try to make the best of this situation. Swift takes a charm, and then he goes down to Imp.
And that was the best possible play Xiaogu had available to them. They know that they can't fight the 5v5. What do we need? We just need the steal. They immediately cut their losses as soon as Swift is caught. Fantastic smite and culling. Great communication between TNT and Swift.
Yeah, we're now 33 minutes into the game, and LGD have got an enormous momentum advantage right now as they continue trying to put pressure onto Xiaogu. This time without the Baron, they get more damage onto the inhibitor turret. They know without the disengage from the cask, it's not enough. They dive forward looking for Doinby, who's low on mana, but V's able to dissuade them. The pick is going to find TCT. They take down the turret and then clear the inhibitor.
They use the equalizer as a zoning tool to pick up what they came here for. So question is, now will they strike next on the map? Ping does go towards the bottom inhib.
That looks like it's what it's going to be. V clearing out that wave in the middle before the super minions get there, trying to stop them and buy himself as much time as he possibly can while LGD look to shove on the bottom side. Imp so very scary. Charm finds Swift, but he's going to be able to walk away. For now, what is Doinby doing? He's super dead. Explosive cast comes across. There's V diving into the back line. He's not able to find it as LGD are continuing to chase forward. Ignite goes down. It's a double kill for Imp and a double kill for God V as well. TBQ's so low. V wants it. Is he going to be able to get it? There goes the Sonic Wave. Oh my gosh, they can't even get these Requiem sort of kills after the fact. It's an ace for LGD. Could this be the end of the 100% win rate from Xiaogu on blue side?
I would say yes. Very convincingly. Doinby caught out of position right there. And again, that was the pick that caused LGD to explode, as they are now using the teleport to make sure that that minion can survive longer to push down these two Nexus towers. And this is Xiaogu crumbling.
Yeah, they're trying right now. The two Nexus turrets goes down. Swift and Doinby have just spawned. So too has TNT. The charm stalls it out. Are they going to be able to protect the Nexus? LGD burning through its health. They will not. LGD end Xiaogu's winning streak on blue side.
Fantastic play from LGD, and again, I have to go back to early game. LGD played that lane swap so much better. It propelled them into the mid game. From there, they just choked out objective control. And Xiaogu, they understood they were behind. They still played a fantastic game, but LGD showing this is their play.